Hey, it's Todd Ault. It is the 13th of December, December 13th, 2021. Maybe the busiest time of my life. I probably have more stuff going on. And just, I'm really sorry that I'm 38 minutes late to Jason and to Willie and to Skyla. We'll have Chris sit over there. Skyla's going to join me at the control center today here.
Yeah, apparently.
There you go. Look at your head's above all.
Nice.
I know, I'm really
What is
bored.
all this stuff, anyways?
Christmas
Is it
decorations.
edible?
Christmas decorations, man.
Is it edible?
Yes.
Some of it's edible.
Is this real too? No. I thought it smelled real for a second.
I think you got some feedback here too. Chase just bailed out on us last minute because he says he's too busy closing deals and doing stuff.
Yep.
Jason, are you alive and well in Florida?
Yeah. I'm sitting here waiting for you. We're not too busy, are we?
We are busy. Busy times. Jason, any I'll get to you in a second. Willie, what's up in Canada?
Hey, man, just doing the Risk On convention, looking at a few really interesting speakers, and waiting for it to snow. Unlike Jason, who's waiting for it to cool off.
Jason, is it hot down there?
No, it's 80 and breezy. It's nice.
It says Skyla has mic issues.
Do I have mic issues? I don't know.
Can you guys hear
me?
Skyla?
I can hear
There's
it.
some background
Yeah.
noise. There seems to be a lot of background
No,
noise.
there's something out there in the background. It's either
That's Jason's voice.
Probably
you or Jason.
It is not me.
All right. I just muted. Let me mute it.
That was it.
He's talking in the background.
Yeah, I got it. Hey, an interesting day today. We came into a rough Bitcoin ticker. Jason, I'm curious as to your thoughts. 46,542. Let me cover the markets real quick, and we'll get to Jason's thoughts on Bitcoin. Dow down 320 points, 320.04. NASDAQ down 217.319. S&P down 43.5 after hitting a new high last week. I'm a little confused about the market here. I guess it's confused too. If you go to my screen real quick, hold on a second here. Go to my screen real quick if you could. Bitcoin, which was 50,000 over the weekend, back to 46,500. Now, obviously today's an important day, right? It's a milestone day because DPW no more. The new symbol is Nile, N-I-L-E, and BitNile Holdings. Its sole focus right now, it's going to divest its assets that are not crypto related. Its sole focus is its DeFi platform with Earnity, its platform, which is its data center, hyperscale, future hyperscale, co-location, enterprise, high density, and then of course Bitcoin mining. That is BitNile Holdings, BitNile, Alliance Cloud Services, and Earnity. And that is going to be a pure play. Alliance Clouds, Alt Alliance is going to be spun out as a separate holding company with all of our legacy operations, retail, real estate, defense, EV, etc. So that's exciting. That happened today. The symbol and name changed. I woke up to Nile, N-I-L-E, being the symbol, and I'm excited. Jason, your thoughts on crypto today?
Well, we didn't get any kind of momentum because the market was red, bright red, and Bitcoin is down, 8%? What are we at? 46.5. There's low volume on the ticker today. Not a whole lot going on. We didn't do as poorly as some of the other crypto names. Several were really buried today. Also, AMC and GME, GameStop, got crushed today. Overall, it was just a negative day in the overall markets. The only thing up today was gold was up slightly, silver was up slightly. Everything else was down.
Yeah, I saw that a GameStop down $22.13 today, and I saw that AMC, that stock that nobody liked that I would be shorted in all the attacks that took place. How you feeling now? I saw $22 today. Yeah. I could just not comment in a free country on what I think, or I could comment and say, $10 is too high. I'll see you at $6. But okay, $20 doesn't matter. I shorted it higher, and I covered. I covered in the 28 range, I think it was. It was a troll short, anyways. I only had 2,000 short. The game. I mean, these things are toast as far as I'm concerned. They are. There's no semblance of AMC's value here. We all want to. They're going to sell popcorn and they're going to take Dogecoin. Okay. Eventually, the mathematical formulas that are business, where you sell something and you make a certain amount of money, add up. So whether it's Nile trading for $1.55, okay, you guys want to trade it there, or it's AMC when it was trading for 70, and a $35 billion movie theater that was doing 800 million a quarter. Whatever. Jason, your thoughts on these meme stocks blowing up? I'm going to bring this up on my screen. Are they blowing up in your opinion? This is sort of the article out there just today. What are your thoughts here on how bad they're getting hit?
Well, I mean, price discovery is an understatement. These things are way overvalued, in my opinion. Even the other meme stocks like Express, the retail clothing line, having a rough go of it. Online e-commerce, brick and mortar, rough go of it. A couple of the other ones, BlackBerry, not too much there. BBIG, Vinco Ventures, that's one that's interesting to me. We do have a position in that in the Bankroll Challenge. It's been we're definitely bag holding right now, but they're going to do a spinoff for Crypto Arm. Look for that to Form 10 to be coming in there within the next 30 days or so. So that's the only one of the meme stocks that I'm really interested in right now. Again, that's my opinion. I'm not recommending or you do anything. Just my opinion.
Okay. Your thoughts on whether these diamond hands, as they call them, are really going to be diamond hands when this stock is now, like AMC is trading at 22, 23. Do you just write it? If you're a diamond hand person, does that mean you just write it to zero?
I mean, how many times do you want to average down before? Here's the thing, Todd. We've got 18 days before the new year. So you're going to see if the diamond hands hold true or if they're going to take massive tax loss write-offs. Let's see what happens. I got a feeling the tax write-offs are coming. I think it's just sell.
Think so.
I think you're right.
Right. Got it. I'm going to skip around a little bit. Willie, what's on your mind today?
Right now it's just trying to button everything up so that we start the first of the year off with a bang, make sure we've got the contracts under our belts and make sure that we've got the speakers that are going to intrigue enough people to make them super excited about an already exciting event. We're looking at the Bitcoin convention in April that we've got to, get taken care of. We've got other projects with you that we haven't really announced yet that I'm in the middle of. So overall, I'm just powering ahead until we get to, the holidays. For me, it's head down, move forward, keep jumping. My day pretty much is grinding out the work that needs to be ground out while you guys keep us all afloat.
Yeah, what happened was I got up to watch it live, right? And I saw there was about 10 laps to go. And Verstappen was some 11 seconds behind. I said, he's got to make up a second a lap. And I could tell he wasn't even making 0.2 a lap. I go, I'm going to bed. This is over. And I went to bed. I didn't even see the ending live. And then my phone started blowing up and some friends were texting me something about Verstappen. I go, what? I go, what happened? And I said, I went to bed. I thought it was over. And so I watched the replays a couple of times. Luckily, ESPN had a couple of replays on later on. I was able to watch it later. But wow, that was incredible. I would have never guessed something like that could have happened.
Yeah, I thought it was yeah. He was.
Brett,
I think that Chris Horner said that he always thought he would be champion.
Yeah,
I mean, eventually he'd get there, right?
Yeah, I thought he would this year. I was surprised, in fact, at the end of the year, they kind of fell off the pace. I mean, he had a huge lead about a month and a half ago. It looked like they were just rolling along, and then here comes Mercedes, boom, 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 4 in a row, or whatever, 3, 4 in a row. Hamilton won, and they were right back in it. So I was kind of surprised that they came back so strong. Not really surprised. You would expect that from them, but
What does that mean? Chris Wu's in the house, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
That should be a treat, right? Skyla's in the middle. Chris Wu.
Yeah.
What's up?
Hey.
Chris is here for, what, a day and a half or so, right?
something like that.
You were up at the Earnity conference. Was it Earnity like a Christmas party kind of thing?
It
What
was
was
a
it?
Christmas party. We had a salsa cooking contest, and we had cigars and by the campfire type of thing. So it
Nice.
was good fun.
You joined the board of Earnity.
Yes.
I thought this would be a good opportunity for us to sort of talk about BitNile Inc.'s investment in Earnity, just from a high level, because obviously we're not giving you guidance or anything like that. But from a high level, you've known the company for a while, and sort of what do you think they represent for DeFi?
So they represent a new platform that people can earn, learn, exchange, trade collections, which is not really possible right now. And they would do rebalancing of various portfolios that people can make on their own. So I think that's very interesting. I think they're going to democratize access to
You can pull them up on my screen, by the way.
a
Nick and Brett.
wider variety of tokens than is available on the normal exchanges that people usually have accounts at. So I think that's pretty exciting. And they're also going to use social media to attract people to be active and drive transactional volume.
So when you go to Earnity in the future, let's say sometime January, February, whenever the launch happens, you can go and you can buy a basket of crypto, sort of one click, right? These people some of them come out of eBay, PayPal. They've developed a platform where you can kind of one or two clicks buy 6, 7, 10, 15 different currencies at one time, a block of them, right? In theory, if I followed you and you had a bunch of crypto that your investment portfolio, you could post that portfolio, and then I could buy that same portfolio you had. I can buy someone else's portfolio that we're sponsoring too.
Exactly. And so, if I had some thematic portfolio, whether it was like an ESG portfolio of crypto that was, a combination of 5 or 6 coins, then somebody could replicate that, or they could just buy my portfolio and then talk about it, exchange it. Or you could simply, if you wanted to buy an 85 Bitcoin, 15% Ethereum portfolio, it would do it for you and also rebalance that as the prices change periodically.
Right.
But another key piece is they're going to also have a non-custodial wallet option as well as custodial wallet option with Prime Trust. So I think that really helps people who are confused about just buying coin on an exchange and not being able to have their own keys. We would be able to have those options for people.
So a person could go there, unlike Coinbase. When you go to Coinbase, it's on their balance sheet. When you go to Earnity, you can have it on your balance sheet.
You can have it in your own private wallet, which they'll help set up, or they can have it at Prime Trust's balance sheet, which they'll have a custodial relationship with. So it'll be safe at Prime Trust or safe within a wallet that they set up for you, and they'll also have the security functions in order to protect you with your wallet.
But Earnity is going to allow crypto trading around the world, right? I mean, you could be in multiple countries around the world and trade on Earnity, correct?
Of course, yeah.
Right. And the difference here in the U.S. This is a U.S.-based company that's going to provide KYC. It's going to have money transmitter licenses, and it obviously be complying with the U.S. laws, versus these crypto exchanges that are overseas that they're whatever overseas laws they are at the time.
Right. So it's going to harmonize a lot of that, but mainly, from our own compliance perspectives, I think we'll have the most stringent compliance anyway. So effectively, it'll be more compliant globally.
But when we decided to make this strategic investment, change the name of BitNile of Ault Global to BitNile and focus on mining our data center operations in DeFi, what was compelling to you about Earnity? I mean, you've obviously more than a quarter of a decade exposure on Wall Street, all kinds of disruptive stuff, things that were undervalued. What was like sort of the one or two things you loved about this?
Well, I mean, a couple things is that it's not set up to be a balance sheet company, and therefore, it won't be valued and we don't need to raise an amount of capital that you would for like a Coinbase, and therefore they don't have to have liquidity that a Coinbase would need in case of redemptions. And so it's still a technology company, but not a balance sheet company, and therefore we can scale much quicker. That's number one. Number two, it's an opportunity to participate in DeFi, which it's shocking what kind of growth is available in that market, because in June of 2020, which is just sort of 17, 18 months ago,
Not too long ago.
the amount of stored value invested into DeFi coins was only $1 billion. And then we looked at this maybe a week ago, and the amount of investment in various tokens, excluding Ethereum, is 110 billion. And so I don't know what that CAGR is, but it's obviously, over 110, 1,000. Well, it's 110 over 1. So,
Right, it's huge.
yeah, so I mean that's in a year and a half, and there's going to be plenty of coins that end up not working, but obviously the blockchain technology is going to be applied to every facet of the world, and a lot of them are going to work. And so for us as a Bitcoin mining company, I think it really diversifies us to truly participate from a pure play crypto perspective, so that we're participating in the appreciation and the minting of new coins as a way of effectively managing our basis. Acquisition cost per coin is really, the capital that we invested, and the minting of the coins less our costs, plus being able to have the DeFi participation.
Yeah, I don't think people understand for sure. I mean, I don't know if everyone's paying attention to this, and we'll have to get this out there. We'll probably have this play out a couple times. What Chris is talking about is that Earnity doesn't have the same balance sheet requirements, those heavy balance sheet lifts that Coinbase does. Earnity's liquidity comes from other exchanges and the technology that drives the ability for people to trade on their exchange, not from Coinbase, where they're having to basically provide liquidity and be there, have that balance sheet risk, hold that balance sheet risk. So this is going to, I have several people ask me, well, why did they only raise 15 million this round? They don't need the type of capital to get to scale that someone like a Coinbase does. Can you talk a little bit more about that? I think that's critical for people to understand that this is balance sheet light when it comes to crypto, and understand too that Earnity is a platform that can trade not just cryptos, different NFTs, different contracts. It's really a sort of a centralized hub for people who want to be in DeFi. Could you elaborate on the balance sheet light part?
Yeah, so, if you're, for example, if you're Lehman Brothers, time was that, per, Fed regulations, you were constricted in terms of the amount of leverage that you could raise, because these all used to be small Wall Street partnerships. But they raised those limits to effectively, for every dollar of equity that you have, you can borrow $33 of debt. And therefore, we all know that those banks were levered 33 to 1, a lot of times on overnight money. And so when the crisis happened, you can see how a balance sheet like that can unwind in weeks and months and days, and we know what the result was. So when you think about a Coinbase, they're going to have on their exchange account your money, and I think they do have an option where you could be a custodial. They would have an outside custodial account, like the kind that we would have with Prime Trust. But if you kept all of your coins on the exchange, and then Bitcoin went down from 60,000 to 30,000, and everybody decided they wanted to sell, well, they would have to have the cash on hand to redeem and effectively provide liquidity for all of their investors. And so the amount of cash that they need to have on their balance sheet or lines of credit at any given time is not much different than, you know, Morgan Stanley or Goldman Sachs. I mean, in terms of the ratio of capital that they need on the balance sheet, because all of the coins that customers would have would either be in their own wallet or at Prime Trust. You know, Earnity doesn't need to have that capital on its balance sheet effectively. Does that explain it?
Yeah, for sure. One of the things I like, if you go to my screen real quick, and I want Chris to comment on this, is this is one of my favorite things about Bitcoin that people don't understand. I'm going to read it to you. As of Monday morning, 90% of all the total Bitcoin supply, 21 million, has been mined according to blockchain.com. Now, it's important to know that a lot of that was burned and lost. I'm told anywhere from 3 to 5 million Bitcoin are just burned, that they can't recover them, etc. But let's just argue that this total supply is only going to be 21 million because that's the limit. That's what Saylor talks about with scarcity. And this is the difference between a digital asset, digital property that cannot be messed with. You cannot issue more Bitcoin. You cannot change it. It doesn't go anywhere. There's no centralized government that says we're just going to issue more Bitcoin today because it's higher in price. So when you read on, the remainder is expected to be mined until February 2040. Until then, the miners continue to earn Bitcoin. Bitcoin operates as a proof of work model, which means the miners must complete and solve problems and validate transactions. It's not an easy process. Reaching 90% took 12 years. That means there's 2.1 million coins to go. That's a very limited network. I mean, you have a global asset that can be transferred in milliseconds for fractions of a penny. We're like literally insurmountable amount of cost. That's not the wrong word. For infinitesimal.
Infinitesimal.
Right, like a tiny little bit of cost.
Right.
To transfer wealth in lightning speed, the speed of the internet, right? And you only have 2.1 million of them that are going to be freshly minted over the next, 110 years, right? So that scarcity is built into this coin. I'm wondering your thoughts on 90% of the coins mined and sort of what Saylor's talking about. Because I don't think, not only can you put the genie back in the bottle, but I absolutely see that what Saylor's talking about, which is that it's stored energy, it's the power of the network, and that sort of is unstoppable.
Well, yeah. So I mean, it's engineered money. So it's the next stage of evolution where people have engineered everything, and airplanes and Formula One cars. And so what they did with Bitcoin is engineer money so that you could build in features so that the supply was actually limited, and obviously the amount that's mined each year falls asymptotically until it reaches its sort of predetermined total by the protocol, which can only be governed by the nodes, right? And so what is interesting about Bitcoin that makes it different from any other commodity that we're familiar with, whether it's phosphates or paper, or poultry wood, gold, you name it. The more the price goes up with gold, for example, the more people mine it, and therefore eventually supply catches up with demand, and the prices go down, and therefore you don't have this ability to really take advantage of the scarcity in supply.
Yeah, well, an example of that is if gold prices doubled to let's say they went to $5,000 an ounce tomorrow. There's a scarcity. We know that people are going to go find more gold, right? We know they're going to go dig. They're going to look. They're going to go melt down their gold. There's going to be more supply hit the market, right? But if Bitcoin prices go to 100,000, it's not going to change the outcome. It's going to be harder to get Bitcoin.
It's going to be harder so long as we have an incremental adoption, by the network, obviously. So, not just in this country and not just institutional investors and the network effects, but, over time, as more people become users either from a store of value perspective or in the future a medium of exchange. And we know plenty of people are using the Lightning Network. And it's not just purely a store of value, but as the network expands, then the value goes up, obviously.
So you have been part of what we're doing at the prior Alt Global before it became BitNile Holdings today, and I want to set the stage for the audience, those people who follow and own what used to be Alt Global, now is Nile today. So we talked about Alliance. You're the president of Alliance. You're the CEO of Alt Real Estate, effectively Alt Global Real Estate Equities. Agree, which is our hospitality / commercial real estate division. You're involved in our asset business. What are your thoughts on the fact that I pitched the board and we eventually, pitched the board, that's the wrong word, that we developed a plan over time, which is really what happened, with a lot of internal discussion here about making what was DPW Alt Global a pure play and spinning out Alliance. I mean, you being a guy who's worked through reorgs, bankruptcies, undervalued assets, all the experience you had at Karl Marx and Tenejo and Chase Bank and all that stuff, what do you think about the outcome, the process of what we're going through in terms of spinning it off, and your thoughts about making BitNile Alt Global a pure play?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's terribly exciting, first of all, because I think my interest in joining Alt Global in the first place was to have the opportunity to invest in Bitcoin and DeFi. So I'm very excited that that's becoming a central thesis because, we know what the profitability of mining is. And to me, it's just an opportunity to acquire Bitcoin at the manufacturing cost, which is below market.
Right. I love the way you explained it. That's your New York, that's your Chicago, that's your sort of Ivy League education, and explaining that we're manufacturing Bitcoin and our cost is simply below, you look at it from how much does it cost to make a computer, basically.
Right. No, it's our basis.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, it's capital intensive, which is why we're very excited about Earnity and also the team and the creativity, because I do see the next 5, 10, 15 years as effectively when blockchain attacks every industry, makes things more transparent, more efficient through the utilization of blockchain technology, which will then be transformed into tokens that will be exchanged on an Earnity type of platform. So I think there's two ways that we're participating from a crypto perspective. But I come from the world of stable cash flows and asset values, which are leverageable. And so when I thought about Alt Global's portfolio, it has a lot of investments that are more in the high alpha zip code, which is to say, potential for very high abnormal returns, but also, it's highly dependent on, outcomes being achieved, whether that's Alzamend or some of our other investments in electric battery charging vehicles and so on. So when I think about moving into commercial real estate, it's consistent with my views about inflation, and inflation is going to increase asset values in property. And because property also is very scarce, and we're going to use leverage in order to acquire properties because of the underlying net operating income. And so I see using third-party debt, which is depreciating, and investing in underlying property, which is appreciating, participating greater than inflation levels. So I think that's another area that de-risks Alt Global.
Yeah, I think so. If you're out in the audience and you're following what Chris is saying, on the crypto side, we sort of have this high growth, future cash flow, future mining opportunity. On Chris's side and my side, which is sort of the Alt Alliance side, he comes from an EBITDA. These things already generate cash, like the lender generates cash or like a piece of real estate generates cash. And those are going to get valued one way over here as a private company. And you're going to value DeFi and Bitcoin mining and data center cash flows, enterprise, hyperscale, co-location, and a different valuation. But I want everyone to pay close attention to this because I think this is really important, and that is when you're mining, and we forecasted, and you've seen it publicly published, let's say 20,600 miners. Let's say you're actually mining 200 to 300 million worth of Bitcoin. Having the Earnity connection, if you listen closely to what Chris said, Earnity is going to have multiple DeFi platforms on its network. Having the ability to take that Bitcoin, wrap it into a contract that exists on a DeFi platform, and allowing that to effectively do loans, underwritings, other sort of DeFi investments. I mean, Chris, there's a lot of leverage there, right? I mean, a lot of leverage by taking newly minted coin and being able to participate in platform type of opportunities that are already on an existing network where you can wrap a smart contract around it.
Well, yeah, because then you have the underlying asset, as the basis for a variety of financial instruments that you can create. And so, especially in the leverage lending arena, that's going to be very interesting to be able to have be long the asset and then be able to offer lending instruments on top of that.
Yeah, I saw the guy from Circle talking about the idea of tether and or stable coins, and I didn't really understand it till he said, imagine how much these asset-backed securities, well, he didn't call them securities, but these asset-backed stable coins, how quickly they can transfer that much money. And so they're effectively, the ironic part about it is, this is what blew my mind. Listen, I watched the testimony over the weekend. So what he's saying is effectively stablecoin supports fiat currency, meaning the dollar, as the global coin of choice, dollar of choice, right? And an asset, digital asset transfer is Bitcoin. So forget Bitcoin as a currency. Think of it as a digital asset, an actual piece of property that you can transfer amongst people. It's property. The IRS says it's property. But imagine that the fiat currency part of the world can be converted into a stable coin and transferred on a network at the speed of light, and people don't really understand how archaic the old network is versus the new network. It's
Right.
really Web 3.0. I didn't really understand it till the Circle guy, like a bulb went off in my light, a light bulb went off, and I was like, okay, so effectively, stablecoin is supported by fiat, and fiat is supported by stablecoin. You actually want it to be the case because then you can transfer wealth that is fiat backed instantaneously without all that friction that I have to go to my account, I have to send a wire, there's fees involved, there's timing involved. This is sort of an instantaneous thing, and stablecoin actually supports fiat.
It does, because as long as the stable coin is issued by the U.S. government, which I think we're probably going to be there within a year or two or three at the most, where the U.S. Treasury effectively issues a Treasury-backed stable coin that's sort of backed 1-to-1 versus Tether, which we don't know
It's a ratio of
what
assets.
what its collateral backing is. It's not 1-to-1, but more important, the concept of fiat is that you're still backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. The only difference being, of course, that it's still U.S. dollar digital form, except they'll continue to dilute it by printing.
Right, and inflation.
And their ability to dilute the stable coin is probably going to be enhanced even more than the fiat. Because the liquidity need will be even higher.
Hey, Jason, I got to be honest with you. I'm a little bummed that you weren't able to join us for this in person. What do you think about what Chris and I are talking about today? Is he still there? He probably bored him to death.
That took my battery down to like 8%. So it's been a while here. Yeah, it's very interesting. We'll see what happens with Gary Gensler. He's going to be managing this entire situation with all of his colleagues. So we just have to be fully transparent, make sure that we're upfront and honest in what we're doing, and we have to be the leader in the industry, so be it. We'll be the guinea pig. There's other things going on with BitConnect right now. Gotta be honest, there's a few things that concern me, but let's just keep moving forward. Stay transparent. We'll see what happens.
Hey, Jason, I understand you're out and about, buddy. We appreciate it. And thank you for the birthday gift. Jason got me a model of a G4, which is probably the private jet I've flown around the most on. And so I'm on this kick to have every single plane I've ever flown on in my office up there. So I got like that Emirates flight we went on, you know, and then I got a G4 for my birthday. And then I'm going to get like, I used to fly as a pilot when I was younger. I flew a German aerobatic glider when I was in Civil Air Patrol, and a Cessna 172, and a tail dragger, which is an old bird dog from Vietnam, and I've flown in Hawkers and all kinds of different planes. Anyway, so I gotta have something to do, right, Skylar?
Yeah, need a hobby.
I need a hobby.
A good hobby.
Skylar, you got a joke for us today?
I do. What do you call a hippie's wife?
What do you call a hippie's wife?
Mississippi.
Are you sure about that?
Mississippi?
Mississippi.
That's great.
Hey, Randy, we appreciate you joining us today. Obviously, the championship's wrapped up. You get to gloat around for another year. I brought a Red Bull to support the cause here.
Nice.
So I'm drinking Red Bull today and not that Monster. Willie, let's talk really quickly about the conference. Chris will be at the conference. For those of you who are going to be coming to the Risk On conference, Chris is an expert in bankruptcy. He's an expert in restructuring, and he's going to be there to take some questions from people in the audience who have businesses, things they want to do, acquisitions they want to do. He'll be out there for an hour talking about it at the conference, which once you go through the dates so far, where it's going to be, et cetera, I know the official launch date of telling people this is Wednesday, but Willie, what can we give the audience today?
Yeah, right now it's going to be May 12th through the 15th, I believe. I just want to check those dates. 'cause
that's right.
May 12th through the 15th. We have a great lineup of people right now. I mean, we know that Charles Payne is going to be headlining. We've got some other people that we were just on the phone with their agents this morning that are extremely interesting. Todd, you know who they are.
I
but
do.
don't want to give
I
that
do.
name out. We've
I
got
do.
Chris that's going to be there. We're expecting other. Can I mention some of the other people?
Yeah, I mean, I would tell you that I would like to hold some of that firepower back, but one of the things that I'm excited about is that this is going to be sort of a little intimate conference in the fact that we're all going to have dinners and lunches and sort of like it's interview process. It's not just speaking and you sit in the audience, but it's participation. I'm pretty excited about it. I am. I think it's going to bring you into the world that Chris and I are running. It's going to give you an opportunity to participate in what Chris does. You guys have got to understand, Chris goes and buys assets that are cash flowing. He buys them for one price. He cleans them up, gets them ready, and then he brings them out at another price based on them reaching their full potential. This is something he's done for more than a quarter of a century, and Chris does it now for Alt Alliance. And so you're going to be able to see that, be part of it. There's going to be some syndication in some of the real estate we have, which we're going to talk about in the future. You'll participate in that sort of monthly cash flow, quarterly cash flow, or you can participate in the upside of some of the deals we're doing. A lot going on. Obviously, today you can see Alzamend was trading a little bit more than normal. I think it was up versus the market. It was up like 10% today. I don't know where Alzamend closed, but I know everyone's pretty excited as I am. I'm looking for that top line data. What about you, Randy? You looking for that top line data, or you focus more on F1 for next year?
Oh yeah, the top line data will be exciting. It's supposed to be in any day, right?
Any day now. As soon as we know, you'll know.
Cool.
This is the most somber set I've been on. Am I not excited enough right now? Is there not enough excitement here?
No, I gotta say though, I gotta say about Chris, I love Chris, and the thing about Chris is when you ask him about these things you're talking about, I don't really understand all of it, but he's so calm and cerebral. You can really learn a lot by listening to him.
Yeah, you can definitely not have a bunch of Todd Aults working here. You got to have some people with a brain and some power, right?
Yeah.
Right? Got to have that happen. Hey, everybody, thank you. It's a short program today. We are busy. The last 2 weeks of the year for 2021, I cannot lie and say to you that it's not full of stuff we're doing. It is a jam-packed, I can't even believe I got over here. I had to stop the calls to get over here. We're going to be back on those calls right away. We'll see you Wednesday, where we'll be talking more about the show Risk On and giving out some tickets and talking about who's going to be there May 12th through the 15th. Appreciate everyone supporting the name change and symbol change, Nile, N-I-L-E. There is no longer a DPW symbol. We'll see you on Wednesday, everyone. Take care. Thanks, Chris.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
See you guys.
See ya.